Hey guys, it's Klaja. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. In this video, we are checking out the Boss IR200 Amp and IR Cabinet pedal. You heard this pedal on all the guitars in the song in the beginning of the video. And I literally mean that, because this is the only thing that was hooked up between the guitar and the input of my computer. There were no amps, no cabinets, no nothing, just this pedal. Now let me try and explain what this thing can do. Inside here you have a bunch of different amps, everything from sparkling clean all the way up to some serious high gain tones. You have a bunch of cabinets in the form of IRs or impulse responses, and you have a great sounding reverb. Now all of this is going to make a lot more sense in just a second when I hook this pedal up to a guitar and run you through how this works. But before I do that, I just want to show you the kind of connections you have on this pedal. First you have an input, and that is of course where you plug your guitar in. And you can do that, you can choose an amp, you can choose a cabinet, you can dial in the reverb, and away you go. Or you could do something else. You could plug in your pedal board into this thing, because you should view this as an amp in the traditional way. So if you want to use a pedal board with your amp, you can use a pedal board with this. And I did that in the two last solos in the song in the beginning of the video. The clean one, I was using some compression from my pedal board, and in the final solo I was using my wah pedal from my pedal board, and that worked just fine. Alright, connections, input, yes. You have a sender return. All the amps in here have an effects loop. You have stereo outputs. You have MIDI control, MIDI in and out with these mini jacks. You have a power connection. This unit comes with its own power supply. On the side here you have a controller, an expression jack, so you can hook up something like an expression pedal and control different parameters inside the pedal. You have an auxiliary input, so you can plug in something like your phone and jam along to your favorite tracks. You have a phones jack, so you can use headphones with this unit. And you have a USB connection, so you can plug it into your computer, and when you do that, you are able to load in your own impulse responses. So if you have bought a bunch of cool impulse responses somewhere, you can load them into this pedal and use them just like the ones that comes with the pedal. Alright, well, enough talk, let's hook up a guitar and I will run you through how this works. Alright, so I hooked up my guitar. It's my Strat, it's a Rode 160 loaded with green reverb pickups. And I have connected it to the pedal by using a standard guitar cable, and I have connected the pedal to the amp just using a standard guitar cable. It's just going straight into a line input on the front there. And as you can see, right now I am on preset 4. This has 128 presets to use. And the amp on preset 4 is a tweet combo, and it sounds like this. Now there are 7 different guitar amps and 3 bass amps inside this pedal, so you can use this with your electric bass just as well. Now I'm not going to run through all of them. I'm going to stay on this tweet combo setting, and then we're going to tweak some of the other parameters. First of all, you have down here a gain and a level control, and that controls the gain and the level for the amp, so I can crank up the gain. Next, the output level. I'm not going to touch that because it's set up to match the input on the interface, but it basically just turns the level of the amp up and down. Then you have bass, middle, and treble control, just like on a standard amp. Alright, if I push this amp rotary controller like this, I enter the amp settings mode, and there are a few pages. The type, of course, changes the amp type. The gain and the level, well, that's controlled by these two guys. I turn to the next page, I get to the equalizer. We've been through that. And the final page here, I have a few different settings. I have this gain control, so I can choose between a middle gain like this, or I can low gain, or I can high gain. Going to put it back in the middle. Finally, in this menu, I have a solo control, a solo switch control, which I can turn on or off. And if I can connect a control pedal to this pedal, I can control it using a foot switch. So let's just try and turn it on and off, and you can hear the difference. And I can determine how loud this solo level is supposed to be. All right, exiting the amp menu, I'm still on the tweak combo setting. Now I'm going into the cabinet setting. In this menu, I have an A/B link, and that links the A and B outputs together. I'm using this setup in mono right now, so it makes sense to link everything. But you can in fact run two different impulse responses on the left and right side if you're running this in stereo. So next is the cab type, and that is the impulse response you are using, and that is basically where all the sound is buried. It's, I mean, changing from one speaker to another speaker or one microphone to another microphone is like day and night. There is a significant difference between these. Right now I'm on a 4x10 tweed cabinet, and I am using a dynamic 421 microphone, which I think we all know. So let's try to run through some of the impulse responses. Right, as you can probably tell, I haven't left the 4x10 tweed cabinet. I'm just changing the mics. Let's try and run another cabinet. This is a 4x12. As you can hear, once again, a significant difference from the 4x10 to the 4x12, and which kind of microphones are used on the cabinet. Right, the next control is the out mode. Right now it's set to stereo, or it could be used as a mono mix. As I'm only connected to one and I have linked the two A and B outputs together, it doesn't make any difference in this setup. Going to the next page, you have an adjust knob. And that sounds like moving the mic. I'm not exactly sure if that's what it's doing, but it sounds like when you move a mic on a cabinet, if you mic them up for real. Next you have a microphone level, and you have a direct mix, so you can mix in the direct signal if you wish to do that. Next up is the reverb, and that's this ambience control. I can push it like this. This is the different types of reverb. Right now I'm on the hall setting. Yeah, you have a reverb time, not going to touch that. You have a tone and a reverb level. So that's basically it. You choose an amp, you choose a cabinet or an impulse response, a cabinet and the microphones going with it. You choose your reverb, you set your gain, your level, and your EQ on the amp right here, and you're ready to go. And I think it sounds really, really good. It feels really good. Right, finally on these two foot switches you can toggle up and down on the presets like this, 5, 6, or back, and that's really cool for a live situation. So finally you have this memory knob up here that lets you store whatever preset you have made on one of the 128 slots that are available in the pedal. There is also the option of switching off the amp, so you are only using the impulse response. And that would make sense if you were to use an amp and a reactive load of some sort. You can load the line signal into this pedal and just use it as your impulse response loader. And finally, you can of course disable the reverb if you do not wish to use it. Alright, the last thing I'm going to show you is that this pedal also has a built-in noise suppressor and a global EQ. Now you can access those by pushing the menu button. Going to System, you have a global EQ for the A output and the global EQ for the B output. You can access that, and as you can see here right now is a parametric EQ. And you can switch to a graphic EQ like this. To get to the noise suppressor, you press the menu button, the memory button, and then you get to the noise suppress and you have a threshold and release. Alright, that's it. Thank you so much for watching my demo on the Boss IR200. I think this is a great unit. There are so many things you can use this for. You can use it live, you can use it in the studio, you can use it for just about anything. I'm really impressed with how realistic this feels to play. I mean, the sound is the sound and it sounds really good, but I really have the feeling of playing with an amp when I'm using this thing, and I'm very impressed with that because that doesn't necessarily happen often. Alright, thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If so, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button, and I will be back really soon with more gear demos. Until then, stay cool.